Welcome back to another deep dive from Webintelligency's AI-powered channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rita. It's great to be here.
So at Webintelligency, we focus on delivering really current, accurate market research and ESG research services. We use AI quite heavily to get those deep qualitative insights, but keep things, competitively priced.
Exactly. And today, Mark, we're diving into something I think is really fascinating, the global Paulownia industry. It's a sector that's changing fast.
Yeah, it really is. We're drawing this from Webintelligency's own recent market review on the topic. So our goal here really is to pull out the most important bits for you. The key players, market trends, that growing ESG angle.
Especially ESG, yeah. Environmental, social, governance. It's becoming huge in this space. We're using two core Webintelligency reports, the big Paulownia industry overview and a more focused one on the South American Paulownia market.
Right. So consider this your shortcut, your streamlined guide. We want to give you the need to know on this sustainable timber, the major players in the global timber market, the key market trends, and how ESG factors are shaping the Paulownia industry worldwide without getting bogged down in, too much detail.
Let's jump in then, starting globally. It's impossible to ignore China's role, isn't it? They are by far the dominant force in Paulownia cultivation and processing.
Absolutely. We're talking primarily about Paulownia tomentosa. You might know it as the princess tree or empress tree. It's native there, China and Korea. And it's prized because, well, it grows incredibly fast. We'll get to the numbers. They're quite something.
And the wood itself, Paulownia wood, it's remarkably lightweight, but still pretty durable. Very versatile stuff, used in everything from sustainable construction to furniture manufacturing.
So China's big, but the reports really drill down into why. It's not just scale, it's expertise. They highlight a couple of companies in Shandong province. First up, Hazay Fortune International Co., Ltd.
Right, High's Fortune. They've got, what, over 15 years experience just cultivating Paulownia and over 10 years exporting it. So yeah, they're a major player, especially with Paulownia tomentosa.
And they seem really focused on the specifics, like developing strains that are cold resistant down to minus 25 Celsius apparently, and disease resistant. That gives them a real edge, doesn't it?
Definitely. And they offer the whole package, Paulownia seeds, roots, stumps, the whole propagation toolkit.
And get this, they're reporting survival rates over 99% and growth of 3 to 5 meters per year. That's just staggering for sustainable forestry.
It really is. Plus, they offer support, technical guidance, and crucially, those phytosanitary certifications. The plant health paperwork you need for international trade.
Sounds like they're not just suppliers, but real specialists. Not just Paulownia tomentosa either. They work with Paulownia elongata and other hybrids too. That focus on cold resistance probably opens up a lot more territory for Paulownia growing, globally. Big differentiator.
Yeah, absolutely. And their facilities in Shandong aren't just for production. They use them for training too. Shows a commitment to building Paulownia cultivation techniques. And they're very connected globally. Skype, WhatsApp, WeChat, the works. Big international presence in the Paulownia tomentosa game.
Okay, then the other big name from Shandong mentioned is Shangguang Wood Industry Co., Ltd. They're on the processing side of the Paulownia value chain.
Exactly. They take the raw Paulownia timber and turn it into finished products, mostly Paulownia, but they handle poplar and pine too. They're that vital link, right? Turning this fast-growing, sustainable wood resource into something the global market actually wants and can use.
They specialize in solid wood boards, and they offer customization, ODM services, original design manufacturing, so they can make specific things for clients.
Yeah. They really leverage Paulownia's natural advantages. Lightweight, stable, doesn't warp easily, perfect for furniture, musical instruments, all sorts of things. A key player supplying processed Paulownia wood to industries looking for greener options.
It's really interesting how this whole Paulownia industry ecosystem grew up in Shandong. The report even mentions its cultural significance, the sacred tree of the Orient.
That history has clearly fed into a very sophisticated commercial operation today. Decades, maybe centuries of know-how in Paulownia farming, selecting the best Paulownia tree seeds, mastering root cutting, optimizing the whole growth cycle for yield.
And that leads to specialized things like those edge-glued boards you mentioned earlier.
Right. Taking smaller wood pieces, joining them into bigger, stable panels. Super useful for furniture, decoration, even coffins, traditionally. They know how to get the most out of Paulownia's unique properties.
This regional focus in Shandong must create incredible efficiencies, building up that hub of expertise in the global Paulownia market.
Definitely. Okay, so let's shift gears. What about the Americas? How does the Paulownia industry in the USA stack up?
Well, the report points to GP Paulownia Plantation in South Carolina,
Yeah.
Swansea, South Carolina. Seems like one of the early pioneers in the U.S., operating for over 5 decades.
Wow, 50 years. That's quite a legacy. Founded by Grady and Peggy Ann McIver, focusing specifically on Paulownia elongata, offering roots, saplings, Paulownia lumber to the U.S. market.
And Grady and McIver seemed to see the potential early on. The rapid growth, good finish, lightweight but strong. Their long-term success kind of proves Paulownia can be a viable commercial crop in the States.
Yeah, a real demonstration plot in a way, paving the way for more domestic production of this fast-growing timber. And it's good to see that knowledge being passed on to his grandson, Michael Enfinger. Keeps that expertise alive.
Then there's the organizational side. The American Paulownia Association, the APA.
Ah, yes, the APA. Formed back in '91. Sounds like a mix of university researchers. Tennessee, Kentucky Extension Services are mentioned, plus growers and other interested folks.
Their main goal seems to be pushing the science, the tech, the education, and just the practical side of Paulownia cultivation specifically for North America.
Exactly. Bridging that gap between lab research on Paulownia and what actually works out in the field. They focus on planting methods, managing Paulownia plantations effectively, finding new uses for Paulownia suited to American conditions.
They've got committees for different things. Executive, communications, marketing, research too.
It looks like it. Marketing focuses on pricing, finding new applications. Research handles experiments, data collection. It's about building a solid foundation for a sustainable U.S. Paulownia industry.
Makes sense. You need both the supply, the actual Paulownia timber, and the market awareness, right? People need to know what it is and why they should use it. Their annual meetings must be pretty important for networking and sharing knowledge in the U.S. Paulownia scene.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's pivot south. South America, Webintelligency flags this as a major growth area for Paulownia, projecting a CAGR, that's compound annual growth rate, close to 6%. That's pretty healthy growth.
6% is significant, and it seems driven by good climate, but also this big push for sustainable timber.
Definitely. The report mentions World Tree expanding its Paulownia farms down there in Latin America. That's a big sign of confidence.
And pilot projects popping up too. Brazil, Colombia, Chile, often with government support, and here comes again, carbon credits. This really brings ESG front and center.
Couldn't agree more. The key drivers for Paulownia market growth in South America are almost perfectly aligned with ESG principles. First, that demand for sustainable timber, climate change concerns, the move towards sustainable forestry. Paulownia fits right in.
Because it grows so fast. 7-10-year harvest cycle. And it regrows from the stump.
Exactly. No replanting needed after every harvest. That's huge for sustainable resource management.
And the carbon credits, that's a game changer financially, isn't it?
It really is. Growing carbon credit markets in Latin America make Paulownia cultivation much more financially attractive. It directly links planting trees to environmental sustainability efforts and, importantly, to revenue streams.
So the trees capture carbon, and growers can essentially sell that capture potential.
That's the idea. Plus, Paulownia is great for agroforestry, mixing trees with crops, and for land rehabilitation. It grows well, even on poorer soils, so it helps restore land, which is great for ecological sustainability.
Okay, so what's the actual market potential look like down there? What are they using Paulownia in South America for?
Well, similar to elsewhere, high-quality timber and veneer for furniture, specialty products, but also big potential in bioenergy. Its fast growth means lots of biomass for biofuel or wood pellets.
And exports. Could South America become a big supplier of Paulownia lumber globally?
Potentially, yeah. To North America, Europe, Asia. The economic benefits, especially through that ESG lens, are really stacking up.
Let's unpack those economic benefits linked to ESG. You've got the rapid timber production, fast returns, low replanting costs.
And the wood fetches good prices, comparable to some premium hardwoods. Plus its ability to grow on marginal land.
That brings otherwise unproductive land into use, right? And actually helps improve it. That's a big environmental plus land rehabilitation.
And the intercropping potential agroforestry, mixing Paulownia trees with other crops. Good for soil, good for local climate, diversifies farmer income, ticks the ecological and social sustainability boxes.
Don't forget the carbon sequestration.
Yeah.
Capturing CO2, generating potential revenue from carbon credit markets, direct environmental sustainability.
Absolutely central. And think beyond just timber. Wood chips for bioenergy, maybe animal feed, honey from the flowers, some medicinal uses. Lots of potential product streams widen the market appeal for Paulownia growers.
And the jobs aspect. Social sustainability in rural areas.
Huge potential there. Nurseries, planting, maintenance, harvesting, processing. It creates employment. And potentially value-added industries like local sawmills or furniture workshops could follow. Big boost for social and economic sustainability. The report even hints it could be more profitable per hectare than some traditional crops there.
Okay, what about actually growing it? Any specific needs?
Yeah, the report gets into Paulownia cultivation requirements. It likes deep groundwater, good drainage. So loam or sandy soils are good. Heavy clay, not so much. Ideal pH is around 6 to 7.5.
Irrigation and drainage are key then.
Crucial for good growth and timber yield. For getting started, you can use Paulownia seeds cheaper, but needs more skill. Or Paulownia root cutting simpler, high survival rate, maybe 95%, and they take off really fast.
And temperature, can it handle variations?
Commercial varieties are pretty tough, generally tolerant from about minus 25 Celsius up to almost 45 Celsius, so adaptable to quite a range of places.
Okay, zooming back out to the global market trends, demand for Paulownia is clearly up. Lightweight, stable, decay-resistant.
Yeah, driving use in furniture, musical instruments, construction, RVs, boats, even aircraft interiors, believe it or not. And that general consumer shift towards sustainable wood products is a major tailwind.
But it's not all straightforward. There are challenges.
There are. In some places, Paulownia tomentosa is considered an invasive species. That means extra rules, more cost for growers, an environmental regulation hurdle.
And wood quality consistency. Making sure timber from one Paulownia plantation is similar to another.
That's a big one. Requires really standardized practices, good certification schemes to ensure reliability.
But the opportunities seem pretty compelling. The global focus on carbon sequestration, sustainable forestry, that inherently favors fast-growing trees like Paulownia.
Absolutely. The economics look good too, with those quick 7-10-year harvests. Faster payback than traditional forestry.
And new uses emerging. Engineered wood, bioenergy, more sustainable alternatives.
Yep. Plus that interest in agroforestry, mixing it with farming, and ongoing work on even better Paulownia varieties through breeding. Lots of potential upside.
Let's talk financials then. The overall global timber market is huge, right? Hundreds of billions.
Massive. USD $626 billion back in 2022, growing at over 6% CAGR. Paulownia slots in as a cost-effective, sustainable alternative, especially to threatened rainforest timbers.
And the carbon credit market adds another layer, projected to be worth trillions eventually.
Yeah, potentially USD 1.6 trillion by 2028. That significantly boosts the economics of Paulownia plantations. The report even gives financials for his fortune in China.
And that case study from Spain, Valencia, showing costs, revenues, profits, IRR for a plantation, and how being close to processing helps.
Exactly. It also looks at things like the Paulownia Bio-Innovation Fund, who it targets, how it plans to make money from timber and carbon credits, expected returns.
It breaks down costs, too. Seedlings, land prep, labor, log prices, processed board prices, the margins in different stages.
It does. Covers trade dynamics like China's shifting imports-exports. Looks at diversifying income like biofuel from Paulownia biomass, pellet pricing.
And monetizing carbon credits under schemes like the EU ETS. How many credits per ton of CO2?
Yes, and the flip side, the cost impact if it gets labeled invasive somewhere.
What about the future outlook? Growth projections for the Paulownia industry.
Looks strong. Annual growth may be 9–11% through 2030, driven by demand for things like CLT, cross-laminated timber, in sustainable construction.
And companies setting carbon-neutral goals, allocating ESG budgets to forestry credits.
That's a big factor. Plus, better genetics improving Paulownia yields, maybe using tech like IoT for quality control. Though potential Chinese oversupply could affect raw timber prices.
Future carbon prices are key too, right? And how funds split those returns.
Definitely. The report suggests Paulownia investments equities, plantation funds might even outperform traditional timber. And we might see more regional Paulownia processing hubs pop up as supply chains localize.
So wrapping this up, it's a really dynamic picture. China's still the leader in the global Paulownia industry, but strong growth in the Americas, especially South America.
And that growth is so tightly linked to ESG. Carbon sequestration, sustainable forestry are not just buzzwords here, they're core drivers.
The wood itself is useful in so many ways, and combined with the fast growth and environmental pluses, it's a powerful combination.
It really is that intersection of ecology and economy, those aha moments where you see how a fast-growing timber like Paulownia can deliver both environmental benefits and real economic opportunity.
Makes you think, doesn't it? How materials like this could genuinely reshape industries, shift investment strategies over the next decade. Maybe time to look closer at sustainable investments, understand carbon markets better, keep an eye on these fast-growing timber species.
Definitely food for thought. And of course, if you want to go deeper into this specific market, Webintelligency has much more detailed analysis and ESG research. Check out the website, www.webintelligency.coil, or you can always reach out to our CEO, Amir. His email is amir@webintelligency.co.il.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the global Paulownia industry.